Hello and welcome to Web3m Podcast. I'm Omer, the head of community, and with me today it's Herzl, the CMO and the co-founder of Web3m.
Hi everyone, nice being with you guys.
Today we're going to talk about the brand info tool, which can help our audience to take advantage of it and make their brands grow.
Exactly. So to begin with, let's give a few sentences about what is the brand info tool in general. So as some of you know, we recently released a new tool, free tool for crypto businesses to learn about their company in few different aspects so they can use this information to plan better advertising and marketing moves, take data-driven decisions out of these insights. So we're going to cover every section or every aspect of the tool right now.
Exactly.
Let's begin.
Yes, so basically we have 7 tools, methods that our audience can take out of the brand info tool. The first one is the brand description. Once they run the URL on the brand info tool, they will present them the description of their own brand. And then it can give them a perspective of how their audience look at them. Every word inside the brand description, it's like a SEO for these brands to be exposed on Google.
Exactly. So there are two aspects, exactly as you said, like for brand description. First of all, it's like kind of a mirror for you to see what's the description that is publicly, published by your behalf, by the way. Web3m scrapes the internet and finds details about you. So brand description is the first one. So on the first use case, it's for you to see what's publicly describing your website and your company right now. And then, according to this description, you can later on use Web3m platform and this description to create content that will be available for you to advertise. So this is brand description. Now let's talk about the second section on the brand info tool, which is the business info. On the business info section, you will be able to find a few different details about your business, such as what is the type of the business, who are the founders of the business. Again, everything we describe here is what Web3m, what the platform could find about your brand online. So everything that's publicly there, we will find and put it and lay it out for you in this tool. So founders, type of the company, any publications, any articles that are online about your brand or released by you and you've been mentioned in them. Web mentions in general, in other social media accounts that mentioned you, year of founding the company, any fundraising, and really like kind of comprehensive business card or business profile. And the idea behind this section is, again, first of all, to learn what's about you online, what's out there. And if you want other stuff, of course, I forgot to mention white paper, which is like for us Web3 companies is kind of crucial to have. And so if you want other stuff to be publicly online and you didn't find it on our brand info tool, meaning you probably need to go and better display it, maybe publish it on your website, or kind of do something to have this published online. This is the first use case and the most simple one. Let's talk about Google searches.
So basically Google searches are the keywords related to your brand, what people searching on Google and how they find you. So the technique behind that is basically to give our audience the perspective of how their audience find them on Google. And another technique I found out from other people, that they basically try to run their competitors' URL and then they find their keywords, and then based on their keywords they promoting their brands, and then they know they creating articles based on these keywords, they creating podcasts, YouTube channels, and then Google recognize them as their competitors, and then that's how they expose to new audience.
Amazing. What you're saying is we can both work on SEO and even paid efforts to run ads on our competitors, maybe names or strong keywords, or at least do a competitor's research and understand what is the strongest ranking keywords for them.
Yeah.
And maybe work on our SEO, as you said, to bring, bring more success for people to find us online. That is the Google searches section, which is very helpful. What we forgot to mention is those keywords, you will find them in ascending order based on the amount of searches they have in the last month, or you can also filter the time frame that you'd like to see the results. The next section, we're talking about lookalike audiences, or maybe competitors that compete with us, with you as a company, on the same audience. So in these sections, you can think of it as a competitor section, showing you every competitor ranked by niche dominance to see who are your competitors out there competing on the same audience as you. Now, again, you can use these two sections when I think about it. You don't need to go outside and look for your competitors as you offered right now for Google searches.
Yes.
You can check out your competitors and then go ahead and see what their keywords by running another analysis on your competitors. Again, for free, there's no fee to use the platform. So we encourage you guys to just go ahead and use it. Next one is organic growth.
Yeah, so basically the organic growth present our audience the status of their brand. They can see like the graph, and the graph show them the engagement related to their followers, right? And basically we can see many brands out there that the graph looks like sometimes like this, and then it's going down and then up. So when they talk to us like how they can benefit from this like graph, basically every time you see a peak, something happened from your side that we can't know. You should like go backwards and see what was the peak, what you did differently. Maybe use content creators, maybe you use the Web3m platform to advertise. You did something that make your brand be on a peak, and then afterwards it just dropped. So that can give me like a mirror to see like, okay, on March my company was on a peak, and then on April everything was dropped, and then it can give you a kind of perspective, and you can get all the data from these months and understand what you did, and basically either do it again or just sharp it. You can always, of course, jump to our community and ask for suggestions, and we can go over with you with the techniques that you did and try to make it even better. But yeah, that's the big pictures.
Wait a second. So what you're saying is that the organic growth is basically a visual feedback, like a visual mirror.
Exactly.
For you, like to see, okay guys, on last November you did good, or maybe last December your like engagement fell in 30%, but like your followers grew up in 10%, meaning from one side, good job on the follower side,
yes,
but then engagement is like going down. So you have to just do a small research, go back to your socials, understand what you did, and maybe copy the success.
That's actually a great example. So we know a lot of promoters out there in the Web3 space that they scammers. They scams, many brands like fell for it, and they spend a lot of money. So this is a good indication that if you get a lot of followers and not much engagement, and you did a deal with the promoter at that specific time, then you know he is a scammer.
Amazing. Yeah, it's simple. Like we have, our experience with clients talking about those promoters or shillers. Some people know them as shillers on Twitter and other social media.
They promise you lens.
Yeah, they promise you everything.
Everything.
They most of the time they don't deliver. But yeah, it's not like 100% of the cases. It's only our experience and our clients' experience. So I want to talk about the next one, which is potential users. Okay, so potential users is another section you'll find on our brand info tool describing two indicators. The first one is your followers count on the social medias we could find related to your brand.
Yes.
And the other method is how many potential users are out there out of this, let's say, overall number of followers. Now the calculation is based on a few metrics. The most important ones are how many engaged people there are with your brand, and like we calculate it out of this, let's say, overall number. So very important stuff that you can and should do with these two indicators, these two numbers, is to measure the gap between the overall followers to the actual potential clients. Now, if the gap is small, you're in a good position, meaning everyone following and showing interest in your brand might be potential users because they are engaged with your brand. As the gap goes bigger, you need to start looking into what you're doing. So again, it's related to your engagement, your audience engagement. So if you have a lot of followers and very few engagement and very few potential users, you probably should look into it and understand how you can get them to be more engaged. It's a low-hanging fruit. It's like money on the floor, as we like to say, because you do have a lot of potential. Let's say 100,000 people follow you, but then you only have this much of potential users. You're probably losing opportunities.
Yeah, and another thing they can do with it, which I talk to other brands, and they use it to check influencers. Interesting, right?
Nice.
So basically, they try to see the engagement inside the profile. All the giveaways that's going on for like communities and brands. So in order for them to check how much they have a solid profile with a high engagement, they test the influencers. So even though they don't have like a specific website, it doesn't really matter because this specific potential users method works based on social media.
That's amazing.
So it scripts their profile and then can show what is the engagement there. And then, so the other day, one guy took like 10 influencers out there and tested. And
Amazing.
He saw that the guy with like 1 or 2 million followers doesn't have much engagement compared to the one with 100K.
That's great. That's the thing, like to find those creative use cases, to find these creative ways to leverage data. This is what we're talking about right here. And like the whole idea behind the brand info tool is to understand the importance of data, the perception of how your audience looks at you data-wise, and use this data to just improve, to create more content, to understand what to do, to measure like your potential users or like what you're missing on potential users that could have been your potential users, but they're not because they're not engaged enough. And this is the power of data and taking data-driven decision into your marketing. Now, the last section we're talking about is community sentiment, or in other words, users sentiment, which is another section in the brand info tool that you can use to, it's like a graph, a visual graph showing you across time, showing you the comparison between positive feedbacks that you got from the community against negative feedback.
Yes.
Now, seeing it visually helps tons in marketing because you can see, again, across times, you can see on this week, I had a lot of potential, a lot of positive feedback from the community and very low negative feedback. But then like a week after or a month after, suddenly I see like a decrease in positive and increase in negative. And the first use case, the first thing I did, testing this feature on Web3m, I went on those dates, I went to our Twitter, I went to our LinkedIn and checked the activity, what we posted, what might has caused, the problem or the success. What content did I publish that encouraged those positive feedback, and the other way around. Like what did I do good and what did I do wrong in terms of the content. Now this visual graph is amazing to get like a picture of the other side of your users. So it's a very like simple but insightful section to use. And in the same section, you'll have a few real engagements, like a few real comments that we took from your socials and pasted there just for your reference. So you just can go ahead and see a few positive and a few negative feedbacks right next to the graph to see what are the sends, what are the comments themselves. Again, it's only like a few examples, but this is what you'll experience when you go to the user sentiment. Now that's the last section of the brand info tool. I think we covered all of the existing sections and features that you can use. I hope it will be helpful for you guys. to use all of them or some of them at least, of course you can go ahead and like run a analysis on your brand. And if you find those details relevant, of course you can go ahead from the tool and directly launch a campaign based on those insights and profile that you created.
Yes.
Again, we'd love to see you and help you guys in WebM, in the tool, outside of the tool, like doing marketing with you guys using WebM platform. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.